Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Each episode, you'll dive into conversations with top entrepreneurs, visionaries, and business leaders, unlocking the secrets to building profitable relationships that drive growth and success. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, presented by LeDuc Entertainment. Today we are joined by David Bernard, who is the founder and managing attorney of the Precision Law Group. David, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
David, can we start off? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Precision Law Group?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I grew up on the West Bank in New Orleans. I went to high school across the river, then hit all the universities down St. Charles Avenue, and have been here ever since. I started my law practice as an attorney in 2011 after law school, and worked for essentially a solo practitioner for about 3.5 years. Moved on to a bigger firm doing insurance defense, construction, workers' compensation, probably for close to 8 years. And then in November of 23, decided to take the big leap of faith and open my own shop, and that's Precision Law Group.
And can you tell us a little bit about the people that you help? When people come to the Precision Law Group for help, what are some of the pain points and problems that they're experiencing?
Yeah, so our target audience would be looking at small businesses as well as individuals and families, and pretty much run the gamut of things that we can help them with. So small businesses, anything from starting a company to wrapping a company up and everything in between. So if there's customer disputes, working on contracts, negotiating a specific transaction, we can cover it. For individuals and families, anything from if they have an injury claim, we can assist with that, as well as we're taking a bigger leap into this year as estate planning and assisting families and individuals with planning for their futures and protecting their assets and wealth that they've developed either themselves or generationally. And so I think those overlap at times where you have small business owners and individuals together. So those are who I would say our target audiences are.
And can you tell me a little bit about what inspired you to start Precision Law Group?
You know, that's an interesting question. I've got a whole bunch of motivations for it. I think a lot of people following COVID had a chance to look up for a moment and really reassess where they were. That certainly happened with me. But in terms of like true motivation of going out and operating my own company, I watched my parents when I was a little kid take a leap of faith. My dad was laid off from working for a soft drink company. He was moving up his way into management, was laid off, and on a whim and a classified ad found a franchise company for sale. And he and my mom put every penny of savings they had into that company and became wildly successful with it. And they ended up purchasing another company several years down the road, and were able to help my sister and I go to private schools growing up and show us that you can make it on your own. The other motivating factor was that had crossed my mind was my dad's mom. Before she had passed away, we had conversations with her, and she had at one point in time opened her own like custom clothing store. And it was, I want to say it might've been in like the 60s. So it was a good while ago, and she brought on a partner, and she eventually got out of it. And the one thing she told us was, she regretted not having faith in herself to push that forward. So between that and, all the life's experiences of getting to where I was in my career path up to that point, I had plenty of family motivation behind me. I had seen it done before, so I knew it was a reality. Some people don't have that. Everybody has a different upbringing, obviously, but those were significant things that crossed my mind when, in 2023 and post-COVID, I'm starting to think about there's got to be a better way, and I know I can do this. And wanting to take that leap of faith and putting it in myself and trying to make a better way for my family. So that's kind of the origination story, if you will.
Well, it sounds like you were imbued with that sort of entrepreneurial spirit fairly early on. Would you say that's correct?
Oh, 100%. I was probably 5 or so years old when my parents took over the company. And you don't realize, like, at that young of an age what's really going on. But, becoming an adult and going through school and having a chance to really look back, that took a lot of guts to do. And I grew up working in the company. So I saw that side of things and dealing with, issues they had with employees, issues they had with vendors, issues they had with just themselves, because they both played a role in the company. Got to learn between them, different roles they played. My dad was more of the outside manager dealing with employees directly. My mom was more of like the financial numbers guru. And I got to see the interplay between those two. And now I basically play both of those roles, and I'm constantly having to counterbalance the two. So it was a good experience. Obviously got me to where I am.
Well, and it's interesting, right? How those kind of early experiences can sort of influence what you're doing, later on, and how that does, multiply and snowball and have that effect. I'm wondering, now, how long has the Precision Law Group been running? How long have you actually had the firm open and going?
It's been open since November of 23, so we're a little over a year. It was very meager beginnings. I was in a single room over off of City Park Avenue behind the old Bud's Broiler, and
Oh, hey, I know Bud's Broiler.
yeah, it was right behind there. There's a little office building back there, and it was just a single room. Now I'm in a 1,500 square foot office in Mid City.
Wow.
And I have another attorney with me, so we have come a little ways, but we're not done yet.
So you've experienced some pretty rapid growth, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's coming along, and it's not without lessons along the way. I've got a very talented attorney that has joined my team as of July of last year. We're hoping to bring on more people. I've got, looking to bring an assistant on probably middle of the year, maybe a little bit later, possibly a law clerk, this summer. And then, as long as the work keeps coming in, we'll keep expanding.
What would you attribute that growth to? Why do you think you've had such success and such, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So the best sources I have for growth really have been the personal connections I've made over time. Word of mouth has been, far and away better than anything else I've ever done. I had to learn about Google ads and social media ads and things like that. And those are great. They have a place. They certainly have gotten me here as well. But fundamentally, it comes down to the relationships and key partnerships that I've made over basically my life, but really my career as an attorney, and also, in the last year plus that I've been operating. Have plenty of friends and family that have referred people. I'm now just starting to see referrals from previous referrals, which is a really cool thing. But those word of mouth have been absolutely critical. And then forging, like I said, good partnerships, people that are in related industries, places that I necessarily wouldn't have thought of, financial planners, realtors, people that advocate for folks in a medical setting. Those are all potential referral sources, and just connecting with people and letting them know what you do and that you can help. You just never know where your next case is going to come from.
So this is going to be one of those big loaded questions, so get ready. But how has your vision for your firm and your approach to your practice evolved over the years?
So I love the word vision. I had gotten together with a coaching company, and they put that seed into my mind when I first started. And I actually have formed a vivid vision of the company and what are core principles? What is our goal? Where are we looking to go? It's funny, I mentioned my parents earlier, but a lot of these, I'll call them like the isms. Those are things that have stuck with me throughout the years, and things that have been important into me being who I am as an individual. And the goal really, and it's all, I put this together in an internal company document. And so every person that comes on will read this document and see our core principles. And my hope is that this resonates with that person to the point that our team that we're building out will all embody these concepts. Give a couple examples. I got them pulled up here. Is leave it better than you found it. It's kind of like, if you go camping, leave no trace. When I was a little kid, you go to someone's house and boys being boys, they destroy the place. And the goal was, before you left, it had to be better than you found it. So if there was no toys out, then you cleaned it up and there was no spot that you were, left behind. Other ones are don't settle for second best. Essentially do it right the first time and don't second guess yourself. That is something that has stuck with me as well. So it's not do it piecemeal. There's some other words I could throw out there. Right. But those are some core principles that have really driven me and as an individual, as well as a professional, and the way that I approach cases for clients, making sure that, if they come in and they're in a terrible situation, that they're educated when they leave, that they are hopefully in a better position after having met and spoken with us and worked with our firm than before. And that we have given our best effort to put the best result possible on the table for them. We've got some other ones too. I have a total of about 6 of them. I don't know that I'll go through all of them, but one of the other ones.
Please share. Those are great little snippets for our listeners. I mean, and those are great snippets for anybody, right? At least the 2 you've shared so far, because you can apply them to anything. It's not just law. These are great life lessons. So,
yeah, and I would
share them.
I tend to believe a lot of people grew up with some of these, and maybe you don't even realize it, but it's worth the effort to sit down and say, what are those moments like when you were a kid where your parents pulled you aside and told you something, or you heard it repeatedly, and not just keep quiet or don't play with your food or eat your vegetables, not those things, but the things that stuck with you that now that I have children and I'm trying to imbue onto them. Another one I have is direct honesty. We always take ownership for what we do, and that's good and bad. If I made a mistake, I'm the first one to tell you I made a mistake. I didn't do this right, and I'm not going to hide behind it. And that means it also means telling someone you did a really good job on that, and that really helped out in this scenario. So it cuts both ways, but it's some people talk about. This gets to another element, is that some people talk about businesses as if they're a family, and they like to put that approach on it because there's a loving aspect to it. And I've been turned away from that in favor of talking about a business as if it's a team, because in a family, families will protect each other, and they'll protect, and that's not a bad thing, but in a family, you don't necessarily say what's on your mind all the time because it might hurt someone's feelings, or it may, maybe you just want to keep the peace, and that's not always the best for the family to do that. Secrets and hiding and that sort of thing. So in a business, being directly honest about it and taking that approach that we're here as a high performing team to do the best that we possibly can. And we can't do that if people aren't open and willing to share how we go about improving. So if someone recognizes on the team, hey, look, I noticed that we're doing X and it is causing us this problem. I think we can fix it by doing Y. Then I want to hear about it. And I think everybody on the team wants to hear about it because we're all here to improve, do better, and, be able to take care of ourselves and generate our own wealth.
Right.
To that end, the next one I have is one team, one goal. We are a high performance team. That's how we frame our mindset when we're here at work. We working together towards one goal. If there is an item where we have to be directly honest with each other, it is not meant to be something to tear somebody down or to make them feel less than or to make someone else feel that they are more than. It is all with the intention of we're here to accomplish one goal, and that's to give the best service we possibly can to our clients in the best way that we possibly can. And if we hold back and we don't look at how to improve, or we don't point out, issues and concerns, and it's some of this is how you say it, not what you're saying. And I'm not perfect necessarily when it comes to this, but I got to remind myself, look, we're one team trying to accomplish one goal.
Right.
And that's how we do it. The other one I've got is fired up. My flag football buddies will appreciate this. It was kind of like a war cry whenever we would get together and play, all my PE all-stars out there. Just an idea that you bring a passion and a excitement to what you do. Sure, nobody necessarily wants to go to work or show up every day. And they say, if you find something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. To the extent you can bring a passion to it, bring an excitement, so that the team around you is also excited to do what they're going to do. I was talking with some folks yesterday about estate planning, and I got to tell you, I got off the call. I was excited about it because we're going to be bringing them in and talking about how to protect their businesses and how to protect their wealth and to make sure that their children have the resources they need once their parents pass away. And also have resources in place should anything happen to them. I was excited after I got off that phone call. Yesterday evening, I had another phone call with a gentleman trying to work out succession for both parents. And I'm excited to help him because the case he had is stalled out for some reason. And he called us and said, look, I need help. And I'm like, happy to do it. Let's do it. Just bringing in energy to the things that we do. I've worked in offices and no one's perfect, but they've gone through waves where I've seen sometimes they have energy and everybody can feel it and everybody's high energy, but when it's down, and it's really rapidly contagious. And so keeping up positivity and a vibe in the office, to use a Gen Z term, you can really transform what people do on a day-to-day.
Right. Because I imagine there's not a lot of people that wake up in the morning, and go, oh boy, estate planning.
I can't wait to write up a contract today, but some of us nerd out on different things, and some people like numbers, some people like rules and order, some people like the chaos. Everybody's got their own little passions that make them quirky, and it's my goal is to get enough people under this roof that can get excited about some things that others might consider mundane. But I think all of this, I have one more, but all of these items will lead to a better experience, both for our team and for the population of people that we serve, whether it's in New Orleans or even broadly in the state of Louisiana. They'll perceive attorneys in a different way because we're not all, billboard or TV attorneys, and we're not all up in an ivory tower where we're unapproachable. Some of us are just normal people doing good work. The last one I had is smarter, not harder. And I know that's kind of cliche, but that kind of hits on the idea of if there's, the first guy I worked for used to use this reference all the time. He said, well, if you had a handsaw and a power saw, you would use the power saw every time, wouldn't you? And yeah, probably. I mean, depending on the circumstances, but yeah, probably. And I like to take that approach too, is if there's technology out there that's going to help us do things smarter and more efficiently rather than doing it manually and, doing things on paper all the time. Paper's appropriate every now and then, but there's so much technology out there now, and it's only going to improve exponentially. Things like using artificial intelligence. There's ethical responsibilities that come along with that, and that's something that our team is going to be trained up on. That you're not just replacing yourself with a computer; you're using it to enhance what you already provide. So, working smarter, not harder, is again another critical element. So I think I've kind of hit on the 6 core values.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if at the end of this, can you give us a recap of all 6 of those? Can you give us like
Yeah.
a quick rapid fire rundown of those?
Yeah. So it's leave it better than you found it, direct honesty, one team, one goal, fired up, don't settle for second best, and smarter, not harder. Those are our core values. Those are things that have driven me, and I think are a good recipe for an excellent team that will get along well, will operate fluidly, and provide great results for clients.
David just out here casually dropping knowledge on a Tuesday morning. Just dropping it for our listeners. I mean, that was fantastic. That's great. I mean,
Yep.
and I'm curious, with all of those values, when someone does come to Precision Law Group, and I do want to talk about that a little bit more, but when someone does come to Precision Law Group, is your sort of strategy and approach sort of a one size fits all, or is it highly custom tailored to each individual client?
Yeah, no, I that's a great question because I think a lot of law firms will fall into the trap, and I've been there. We've all been there. I mean, you got to learn some kind of way, and as a baby lawyer, you try to find the best way to systematize what you're doing. And it comes with time that you learn how to maneuver within whatever system you put in place. But no, we take the clients as they come to us, and that's for both small business owners and for individuals. Whether we're talking about estate planning or we're talking about a company that wants to put together contracts. We educate where we think they need educating, and we will assist them with document preparation and explain to them, here's the importance of this particular clause. Here's the importance of having this type of contract in place. And here's what it could prevent, or here's what it could assist with in the future. The same with the estate planning is those are all custom tailored plans to our clients and their specific needs. We don't just have a one size like, all right, you need a will. Here's your will. You need a contract. Here's your contract. There are common components to all of those things, but the actual nuts and bolts and real mechanics of all of it, those are absolutely custom tailored to everybody.
And I'm curious, Precision Law Group, what inspired that name, and what does that name mean to you?
I was asked that question pointedly, and I said, yeah, it's kind of interesting. I had gone through, I had rattled off probably 20 different words. I did not want to do a name, like my last name or anything like that. And that's not for shame of my family or anything like that. There's nothing distinctive about that. There are plenty of named firms out there, and I don't know that anybody could really tell the difference between them. And there's nothing that really sets them apart based on their last name, other than maybe you've heard about them before, but that's it. For me, I kept coming back to precision. It was just something that stuck in my mind about, the meaning behind the word. It was, and actually I have in my vision, I've got the definition here. It's a noun, the quality, condition, or fact of being exact and accurate. And I just thought that kind of summed up what we need to do as attorneys, and the practice areas that I was looking to go in. That was kind of the motivation behind it. It was just a word that kept sticking with me. You can come up with any kind of platitude or buzzword here or there, but this one just seemed to keep sticking in my mind as something that fit the vision and goals of where I wanted to take this.
Well, and I mean, you deal with pretty complex legal issues every day. I'm wondering, what is your approach to sort of simplifying those and making them understandable for your clients, for idiot podcast hosts like me? How do you simplify some of those complex legal issues?
One of the things that has been impressed upon me really since law school is just speak English, just talk normal. For some reason, and I remember I started in night school at Loyola's Law School. My very first night school class was torts. And I remember sitting there, and for some reason, when people start in law school, there's some switch that's flipped, and they start talking like clowns. They start talking Latin, and they start talking like overly verbose, and there's clauses all throughout. There's sentences. There is just no English whatsoever. Nothing is plain. Everything is very, fluffy and, old English style. And I mean, I was a victim of it. I did it too. But I don't know what happened. I don't know who said like, "Oh, this is the way you're supposed to speak." But over time, I've come to learn that just writing in plain English makes more sense. And the way that when I've worked with younger lawyers and even colleagues of mine, it's always been, how would you tell a judge if you were in the elevator with them? How would you tell them in the 30 seconds you have with them what this issue's about and why you win?
Right.
Or what would you tell, how would you explain this to like your mother? Like if your mom's sitting at the dinner table with you, how would you explain it to her? And those are probably the easiest things to do. Just put it in plain, simple English. There's no reason for the fluff. Aside from just language itself, an approach that I find is uniquely, I don't want to say uniquely mine, but it's something that I do uniquely is I always tend to take a practical approach to things, like how what's the good and the bad that can come out of this? What is the worst case scenario? What's the best case scenario? What happens if we get what we want? What happens if we get nothing that we want? And then how do we come to the practical solution, perhaps in the middle, but maybe it's a little further left or a little further right. Those are always on my mind. And, for business owners and individuals, sometimes coming to us is the very first time they've ever hired an attorney.
Right.
And so it can be very costly to engage an attorney to go file a lawsuit or to battle out with somebody over terms in a contract. And we try to explain to folks the practical side of it is like, principles cost money. So
right.
Do you want to be right, or do you want to get this over with in the most beneficial way possible? And that sometimes means that you don't get everything that you want, but that also means sometimes that the other person doesn't get everything that they want. And it's not always in the context of a dispute. Even in talking about estate planning and just generally building out a contract for a company, nothing disputed there. It's just trying to give them a practical explanation as to what the effects of a particular document are, or trying to accomplish certain goals.
Are there any community initiatives or pro bono work that you're passionate about?
Well, I sort of touched on it earlier, was flag football. I coached a bunch of youth flag football teams for a number of years. I have some younger boys right now. One was in flag football, and he's trending more towards band right now, which is cool because I played trumpet as a kid. And so he's picking that up as well. My youngest son is not quite at the sports age. And then my daughter, she's in dancing. So I can't really assist with that very much. I'm not very good at it. And I don't know that I want to be on stage anywhere doing that. But yeah, youth sports, getting involved with them and the young kids is always very rewarding. I've been around some great kids, and you're able to really give life lessons to those kids. My one son, while he's not in flag football anymore, he does still play baseball and basketball, and getting to be around those kids and interacting with them is definitely something I enjoy. So I don't really have much time outside of that though. So yeah, just youth sports and being around my kids at the playground, and to the extent they play at schools or anything like that, absolutely enjoy doing that.
When you think back on all the people that you have helped with Precision Law Group with your practice, is there a story that you could share with us, a story that maybe stands out in your mind as a really good example of a business or a client or someone that you saw a really positive transformation in as a result of your help and guidance?
That's an interesting question. I guess I could say all of them, but no. We definitely interact with a number of small businesses and transforming their understanding of dealing with contracts and disputes. That has been definitely rewarding to watch that growth. Individuals, I know we've helped people that were in scenarios where, say, like a loved one had become incapacitated in a certain way, and we were able to help walk them through how to handle it, how to, what documentation they might need to assist. Those have certainly been very rewarding moments as well. I don't know that I have a specific example that I can give you, but I know we have worked with a lot of people. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people that are coming to us it's their first time actually hiring a lawyer. So their experience with us really is the first interaction they've had. And some of the really good experiences that we've had have been people that have not retained us. People will call up and they're like, hey, I need, my parent has dementia. I need assistance to help walk them through. And we'll give them friendly advice. It's not really legal guidance necessarily, but saying like, look, here's what you should consider doing, and here's how we should do it, and here's why. Or we have people that are like, look, so-and-so just went in the hospital. I need help with a will. We're able to do those and turn them around quickly for people. So some of the people that haven't retained us, we've actually had very good experiences with as well, just from an educational standpoint, and gotten a lot of gratitude from those people. Like, look, you're the first person that's actually talked to us.
Right.
Some attorneys will take the call, or maybe it goes through a screening or call center, and those people get turned off because they don't ever get to speak with an attorney, and they're like, I need to talk to a lawyer. And I'm like, you are. So how can I help you? What's going on?
Right.
So being that frontline defense, and maybe not defense, but frontline education for the community has been rewarding, because a lot of people really appreciate just communication.
Yeah.
So that's been a very positive thing for me since opening the firm.
David, this has been an awesome, super informative conversation. If anybody out there listening could use your help, could use the help of Precision Law Group, where can the people find you?
Mid-City, New Orleans, right in the middle of awesome. You can go to our website, precisionlawgroup.com. You can call us, 504-884-8911. You can email info@precisionlawgroup.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I'm trying to think if there's any other websites out there. I know you can find us through Google. We have a Google profile, and you can reach us through there. And if you're in town in New Orleans, we are in Mid-City on Canal Street, close to the intersection of Norman C. Francis.
And David, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been great.
I appreciate you having me. I've enjoyed it, and I'm happy to do it again.
Great. We'd love to have you back. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, and thank you everyone for listening. This has been Partnerships for Profit, presented by LeDuc Entertainment. David, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.